Okay, recording. So good to see you. It feels like it's been forever.
I know, I was thinking that 2 weeks feels like a lifetime.
Really long time. Which is a good thing because like when I used to do this before, I would often go like 1 month and then 3 months and then, it's just very different for like 2 weeks for for me, from my perspective, for 2 weeks to feel like a long time, but that's a really good time, I think. So, on that note, hi to everyone watching. Welcome. This is Slow Fashion Rebel. My name is Emily, and this is my lovely friend.
Sophie, hello.
Hi, Sophie. I'm coming to you from Brooklyn, New York, and Sophie is.
In Cheltenham, England, UK, in the
Um,
world.
Sophie and I met last year, and we, well, while she and her husband lived in Brooklyn, and she recently moved back to the UK, and this is a great way for us to keep in touch with each other and with you about all of our crafting adventures. We focus on knitting and sewing and cross stitch mainly. Welcome to our channel.
Yeah, welcome. Just on that note, I realised I've left my cross stitch downstairs. Maybe I'll
Oh
run.
no. Do you want to go get it?
When we get to it, I'll go get it.
Okay. So you were just saying that you moved back into your place because you were staying.
Yeah, well, not yet, but we're moving back in on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
And then, even more excitingly, all of our stuff is being delivered next Wednesday, I think. So yeah, perfect timing. Like have a
Yay.
week to get back, like get organized, and then get ready for the 74 boxes of
Wow.
belongings. But there's Christmas decorations in them, which is what I'm most excited about. So I
Yeah.
was thinking, I'm really jealous of Emily's festive setup. So as soon as our Christmas stuff arrives, I think I might prioritize the Christmas unpacking. Just get Lucas because he's moaning over here. There he
Hi,
is.
Lucas. Oh,
Hello.
hello. Hi.
Hello.
Um, so, I mean, this looks pretty festive, but the rest of my apartment still needs some work. So, you know, don't feel bad about about that. I don't know what I'm saying. I always get nervous when we start recording. I'm like, oh, let's start recording right away so we can catch all of this excitement. And then I get like nervous and I'm like, feel like I'm talking too much. So,
No, I was going to ask you how your past week has been, and I know we spoke about Thanksgiving and all that kind of in terms of the meaning of the holiday and how it's connected, but I'm just going to ask Emily in terms of food and fun with friends perspective, how your Thanksgiving
it
was.
was good. It was not as big of an event as it usually is for obvious reasons, but it was still really nice. I think I got the pumpkin pie spice like really perfect this year, so that's great. And also the cranberry sauce, all of the cranberries, most of them popped in the
Ooh.
cranberry sauce, so that also means that it was an excellent cranberry sauce this year. Do you guys do cranberry sauce? Yeah,
Yeah, I would like turkey.
for
I
Christmas,
guess it's the same.
right?
Because I guess Thanksgiving has turkey too. Is
Yeah,
it?
it's the exact same meal as Christmas in my family. It's rather silly, but whatever.
I can't wait for Christmas. I've already been thinking about it, like salivating, like roast potatoes,
What do you
Brussels
guys have for
sprouts.
Christmas dinner?
What's my perfect roast dinner?
What is your like meal for Christmas dinner?
Yeah, so it's turkey. So roast turkey. So my dad loves roast turkey, and it's basically the only time of year that we let him have turkey because I mean, in England, roasts you kind of have them. Well, I guess some people have them every Sunday, but if we have them, it's frequently on a Sunday. So we don't have turkey any other roast of the year. So that's like as one hurrah. And we're spending Christmas with my parents this year, and then Boxing Day with Jake's parents, just to clarify that. But so yeah, we eat turkey, roast potatoes, He usually does like pan-fried Brussels sprouts with pancetta, pigs in blankets, which like mini cocktail sausages wrapped in bacon. I don't know if
I
you have.
know about pigs and blankets. Move my
Um,
camera.
what else? Stuffing. My mum makes really good stuffing. It's usually sage and onion stuffing. And what else is there? It's probably like another form of vegetable. Really, I'm just there for the roast potatoes, to be honest. And then I guess some people have gravy. I'm not a huge gravy fan because I don't like my stuff to go soggy. And I guess some people would have Yorkshire puddings and stuff, but we don't have those with turkey. And then on Boxing Day, if I was with my family, we'd probably have leftover turkey with like cauliflower cheese or whatever, and jacket potato maybe. But we're spending it, as I said, with Lynn and Ian. I think Lynn's making a beef Wellington.
Ooh.
I'm very excited about that. As you can tell, I'm not a vegetarian. Yeah, it's just lots of yummy food. And then we don't have Christmas pudding or anything because I don't like Christmas pudding. Well, my mum might get like a tiny one if she fancies a spoonful, but I think she's ordered like profiteroles are usually a favourite of mine, and tiramisu, like something very non-traditional.
What is Christmas pudding?
So
I mean, is it the same thing every time, like for everybody? Christmas pudding is like a specific.
It's a specific pudding. It's a fruitcake. It's usually a round ball fruitcake. People spend months making them, so they soak it with loads of brandy. It's usually very alcoholic, and then it's boiled. That's how it's cooked. And then before you serve it, you usually set it on fire, so it has like all the little blue flames. So it's basically like a fruitcake. I'm not a fan. It's not really. I don't like fruity cakes, like cooked fruit. Emily knows this about me. Cooked fruit, no. Like, yeah, I don't really like hot puddings like that. It's just not my jam. But you know, I've heard it's great with like brandy cream, all that kind of jazz.
Sounds like it would be really good with ice cream, also.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
a lot of people love it.
Yeah.
There's a stall at the Bath Christmas market. So Bath is just near Bristol. And I can't remember what they're called, but they do all these crazy flavors. They do like lemon and something, and then they do a gin flavored Christmas pudding and like chocolate Christmas pudding. They do all these random crazy ones. So you can get twists on the traditional, but yeah, boiled pudding. And traditionally, so they used to put sixpences inside them in the pudding and then bake them. So that would be, you know, the lucky person would get a sixpence in their pudding and get to keep it, obviously. So I think that's also back from the Victorian times. So if you've ever seen Oliver Twist or something, I think it happens in that.
Well, cool. Have you started working on Christmas? Are you doing any Christmas crafting, like gift knitting or anything?
Well, I started those socks and haven't done any further knitting, but I have made some Christmas cushions. As you know, I've gone cushion crazy. I'm on my last cushion and I'm posting one. Should I just show you? So I'm going to post this to my grandma tomorrow.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it's a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah. Did you design that one?
I didn't. Unfortunately, the one that I did design, I've taken back to home. So you'll have to wait for next week to see that one properly, because that's one I like the most. It's more sort of like graphic. Mm-hmm. But this was from a pattern. I think the person's called Happy So Lucky. And I'll try and link it below. But it's a 12 Days of Christmas quilt. My mother-in-law bought, and this is one of the blocks that I added a border to make a cushion. It's about 17 by 17 inches. And then I was quite pleased. I quilted it with variegated thread. Ooh. I got really into free motion quilting this week, or just practicing. I'm not very good, but done like little leaves, and there's bark, and it says on the first day of Christmas. So I'm going to post this to my grandma tomorrow because, so for Christmas in the UK, they've introduced rules obviously around coronavirus that you can only have 3 households. And though my grandparents would still be able to come with that rule, they're basically saying they're not leaving their house, well, not leaving Wales until they've had a vaccine, because they're like, we've survived this long, we don't want to put ourselves at risk.
Yeah.
Because they'd be staying in a hotel and stuff, so that's really understandable. So I thought instead I would send them a lovely festive cushion,
Oh.
fill them up, and then it's got this sort of metallic Christmas trees on the back. Should I carry on my cushion? Now I've started. Do you want to be cushioned out?
Yes, please.
I don't know if you saw this one. These were the blocks that I was making a few weeks ago. So I finished this one off. I learned how to do binding with little mitered corners.
Awesome.
This one is my favourite. So these are Christmas baubles.
Oh,
I should say that these were from Broadcloth Studio. Her pattern's no longer on her website, but she is, if you're interested in making any Christmas quilting, she's running this thing called Quiltmas. So you can sign up on her website. It's completely free, and you get 12 days of Christmas blocks from different quilting designers. So if you fancy doing that, we can add the link in below. I've signed up. I don't think I'm going to make any more, but I'm just intrigued. You can always have them in your back pocket for next year. So these, back to Happy So Lucky. So these baubles are from her. And then I went really crazy with the free motion quilting.
Oh, so cute.
Hit myself in the face with the cushion. There's a little mistletoe on this one.
Oh.
I think there's like little birds.
Wow. That's beautiful.
On the ceiling. So yeah, and then I did a little, where there was spaces, little
Oh man.
baubles in there.
Wow.
And I really like the fabric on the back of this one. It's Father Christmas.
Yeah. So cute.
Cutting down his Christmas tree. And then finally, haven't quite finished this one, but I've just got the binding to do. So this is a red cardinal, which I thought was quite nice. It reminded me of New York. And when we first moved last year, I remember seeing a red cardinal and being like, oh my God, what's this bird? It's absolutely amazing. Because you don't get them.
Oh wow.
And I thought, because in London they have cockatoos or parrots or something that are green, and they're from, someone released them years ago, and now there's like a whole colony of them in London. So I was thinking that maybe this was the same situation of like this amazing red parrot or cockatoo or something had escaped and are now living wild and free, and then I realised they are actually a native bird.
Yeah.
So it's a red cardinal, and then I've done bright pink border. I've got, I realised I sewed this on the wrong way, but never mind. Gold.
Oh, cute.
On red. And then I've free motioned a poem into this one, because, you know, I was just feeling really, so all of this writing here is all a poem, and it reads, a poem, I don't know who wrote it, but I just Googled cardinal poems, because that's how creative I am. When one bright morning, loud and clear, its whistle smote my drowsy ear, 10 times repeated, till the sound filled every echoing niche abound, and all things earliest loved by me, the bird, the brook, the flower, the tree, came back again as thus I heard the cardinal bird. There's obviously more verses, but that's the only verse I could fit on.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I've literally just sewn the back on for this.
That's so impressive.
And then I'm done. I'm retiring from Christmas cushion life. Because I think in total I've made 7.
Are you Christmas cushioned out now?
I am.
Yeah.
I think I'm quilted out for a bit as well. Or Christmas cushion quilted out. There are other things I want to do that are not Christmas cushions.
Yeah. With the free motion quilting, do you like write it in pencil beforehand and then wash it out? You just did it?
No, I just go for it because, Emily, you know, like everything in life that I do, I just go slapdash. And think I'm just gonna go for it. And if it goes horribly wrong, then we'll figure it out afterwards. Like for example, this snowflake here looks
Yeah.
fine now. Messed up initially, just add more. If it goes wrong, just keep going over it and hope that something will happen to make it look better.
It looks so good. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Thank you. I do feel like the calligraphy sort of helps with the writing because I know how I want it to look. But I am thinking those quilting gloves that people wear would be useful because it is sometimes a bit slippy. That's the only thing that makes it a bit hard, as if the fabric slips under your fingers, but you can get these little grippy rubber gloves. And it's not perfect, but I think it's, charmingly
Charming.
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
I have 2 finished things. Is that everything for you, or do you?
I've got my cross stitch, but it's downstairs and I feel too lazy to go and get it. But people can see an update on my Instagram, Sophie's Knits. So you're
Okay.
plugging my social media there.
Do you still just have that little corner, or did you make more progress?
I think I made a bit more progress. I'm now about, I would like to think, a quarter of the way.
That's
But the middle
exciting.
section is less complicated than
I
that.
want to see it. I mean, I want to see it and I want to hear you talk about it.
Well, I'll go get it later then.
Okay, good. So this is a project that you have not seen at all. So it's a start and a finish. I'm gonna put them on.
I love them.
These are
Are
the
they
layer,
fuzzy too?
a bit, yeah. These are the layer cake mitts by Susan B. Anderson. The yarn is Jamie Harmon handspun. I don't know what the content is entirely, but it's got a little bit of Angora in it, and they were so lovely. It was so lovely to work with.
It looks
I've
so
been, thank you. I've been obsessed with these since Tracy knit them. Tracy from the Grocery Girls knit them. So yeah, I just whipped them out, and I feel like my knitting mojo may or may not have returned with these mittens. So the pattern stops right here in the actual pattern, but I wanted to do another repeat because I wanted them really long. I have another pair of fingerless mittens where the pattern stops even shorter than that, and it's just like they barely do anything when you're actually cold. And she says in the pattern you can stop anywhere in this repeat. The repeat it starts from the ribbing and goes to the ribbing, the garter section, and the bobble section, as you can see here. So I wanted it to not just like stop at a random place, although now looking at them, it totally could have stopped at a random place and you wouldn't be able to tell. But I wanted to do another full repeat, and so that's why they're extra long. But they're going to be so nice and cozy, I think.
I was about to say, I quite like the length actually. I hate it
Yeah,
when gloves are too short.
me too. Yeah.
And I like that you've ended with ribbing, so it kind of, you've got ribbing on the thumb, ribbing on the cuff and
Yeah.
the top. I think that does make them look more finished
Thank you. Well, it was
than
gonna
if you
always,
stopped somewhere else.
it would have always finished with ribbing, but could have been like, I don't
I
know.
know,
I
being
think
too,
if I had changed it, it might have just been like the garter and then the ribbing and not an extra layer of row of bobbles. But I mean, they're so cute.
yeah,
So
you need more bobbles. Were they nice bobbles to make as well?
they were really easy. It was the kind where you knit front and back, and it was 5 stitches. You bring the 4 over the 5th one, so not like 9 as like you were talking about a couple of weeks ago. And then you bring the working yarn around the base of the bobble after you have decreased to just 1 stitch, and it makes the bobble like pop out, which is it's really effective. That's not something I knew before. I knew it before this pattern, but like when I first started making baubles. I didn't know that was a thing. So, because sometimes they like want to fall to the back
I
of the work.
hate floppy bubbles.
Right. So
I
yeah.
was gonna say floppy balls, but I thought that'd be inappropriate.
Well,
But I've said it now anyway, so.
yeah, it's okay. All right. So my second FO. Da, 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 da. Oh wow! Look, you can see the
God,
Christmas.
you don't. I was gonna say you've made so much stuff, Emily, in these 2 weeks. I feel like I've been slacking.
Just these two things, but I'm very happy with them. Yeah,
That looks so nice.
thank you. I decided to just like focus on finishing some things. I'm a bit at like oversaturation level with the amount of projects that I've got right now. So I feel like it's been that way for a while, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you just have to sit down and finish stuff. And this one, I got so excited to start on it, and then I just had done so much that it crossed the point of no return. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just like, okay, we're just gonna do this start to finish. So that's what I've been doing.
Are you gonna frame it or put it in a hoop? I can't remember what you said.
I think I'm gonna frame it because I want it to go in my bathroom. And although it's circular, so like it would look really nice in a hoop, but I feel like if it's in the bathroom with all that moisture, I would worry more about not having the
I was
fabric.
just gonna say it's such pretty fabric. You'll be able to see a bit more of it in a frame as well.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't believe I want to make those mittens now. I can't add another whip to my pile of like.
They're really quick. They're really quick. You should make them. Yeah.
I did do a bit more on my owlet jumper, but I mean by that all I did was knit a sleeve, which wasn't exactly taxing considering the sleeve is like this long.
Right.
But now I just need to knit the other sleeve and just finish it. But I just haven't been knitting at all. Maybe I feel like I've been spending the days sewing, and then I'm just I feel like sewing is so tiring. It sounds really stupid. Because I'm using my brain a lot more because I'm just having to think about it because it's not something that comes naturally to me.
Well, and it's literally more physically active too.
Yeah.
I mean, even though a lot of the time you're just sitting in a chair, it's not 100% of the time. Like often you're getting up to go cut something, or cutting can be really physically exhausting.
Yeah, all those maths like this, I got so fed up when I was making this partridge because there's so many in this. There are 24 1-inch squares, which you can't really see like from the overall piece, but there's like so many bits you have to like match up, and I was just I was kind of over it by the time I'd finished this one. I mean, the pattern was well written, but I'd had enough of piecing and then I just didn't even want to do any knitting. So I haven't even done any more on my jumper, but I'm going to go over and get my cross stitch and then I can show you that. So at least I haven't just been sewing. So if anyone, now looking at it, maybe I haven't done that much, but this is the V&A DMC William Morris Strawberry Thief cross stitch. So it's a bookmark. So this is the finished product. And so you get all the threads, obviously, and a chart. I thought it was quite good. I don't know if this is normal in normal cross stitch because obviously I haven't made one well, not obviously, but I haven't done one for a good 15 years. I was quite impressed it came in black and white and colour.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
I don't know. I think everyone is different, kind of.
So yeah, I guess if you don't like, I prefer following the colour, but if you don't like following colour or you have problems reading colours, I thought this was quite good.
Yeah.
The colour one still has the same symbols, and obviously it all corresponds. So this is how far.
Oh, so pretty.
So this is going to be the bird's head, just where I finished.
Yeah.
So I've kind of just done this part of the chart, really.
It looks so pretty.
Thank you. I got really into it. It was not the weekend that's just gone, but the weekend before. I literally spent the whole weekend just stitching in quiet, peaceful,
Yeah.
thoughtful solitude. I wish I'd started a bit further over. That's the only thing I would say to myself next time, because I feel,
Oh, you mean on the fabric?
yeah, I reckon it's probably I'm gonna end up with more this end,
Mm.
maybe like that much. I
Mm.
mean, it's not too bad. I'm wondering whether instead of a bookmark, so you get all the bits to make it into bookmark.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe I'll put it into a pouch or something. It depends, because I feel like it's too nice to have as a bookmark. I do read books.
That would be a very tiny pouch.
Or I'll add fabric to either
Oh, I
side.
see. I see. I see. You've inspired me to want to do a bookmark though. Like it is, I mean,
Yeah, and then half me is like, would I actually use it as a pouch? I mean, I have so many pouches, I probably don't need another one.
right. And you might actually use it as a bookmark. How do you make a bookmark? What are the things that?
What are the things? Well, Emily, I'm glad you asked.
Mhm.
So it comes with a piece of card and a piece of backing felt. So
Okay.
I haven't read the instructions, but I'm pretty sure. Trim your fabric to leave a 20mm border all around your completed cross stitch. Why I'm thinking that I probably should have left more.
Mm.
Place your work face down and cover your stitches with the card provided. Then you basically fold it around the card and secure it somehow. It's suggesting a glue stick or a fabric glue. So it's saying short edges, then long edges. So I guess you get a nice fold. I would probably like cut a bit off the corner to make it less
Yeah.
bulky diagonally as well. Do it like that around the card,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's all straight, and then I guess you just
Glue the backing or sew it?
yeah. It says glue the backing. I'd probably also whip stitch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says secure with fabric glue or over stitch. I think I would probably do both. I guess you could probably just stitch it because you already have the card to make it solid.
Mm-hmm.
So then yeah, it'll look something like this.
Cute. What count is the fabric?
It is 16 count, and the finished size is about 2.4 inches by 7.7, which seems like a weird amount, but I think they originally did it in centimeters, and obviously the conversion to inches is
16 count is pretty small. It's not like super small, but it's not. I think a lot of like beginner kits are 14 count, which is really big.
yeah.
But 16 count would be a 32 equal to 32 count for linen, which is exactly the same size as this.
Yeah, there you go. Snap.
There you go.
Yeah, it's quite teeny tiny, but I am enjoying my method behind. I was going to ask you, maybe we should share some of our counted cross stitch methods. I mean, now that I have a method, well,
Absolutely.
make
Please
method.
share.
Well, I've been switching around colors. So I basically did something that Emily told me about previously with your wizard design, where you sort of left threads hanging.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
did
Mm-hmm.
that with sections where I'd kind of got to a point but wanted to go back to another color.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I'm sort of just on a green. I sort of snipped everything else off, but I had been doing that, which I thought was really useful way of not having to constantly break threads or go on to other sections and you kind of lose context of where you are.
Right. Yeah.
But I just started in the bottom corner with one colour and tried to do as much as possible and then sort of just switch between them. And I think for me, in terms of, so I guess everyone will have their own way of visualising a pattern or working it through. For me, it's easier to figure out where I am. So rather than counting, just by using other bits as a reference point,
Yeah.
and then kind of working on, I guess, those smaller sections and say do like all the blue in that section and then move on to the red and sort of help use that to guide me where I am.
Yeah. Do you, on that pattern, do you have like a 10 by 10 grid or something? Is it sectioned out?
No, so it's just one full grid. So I've just been doing like random little blobs. Yes, and then also doing half stitches. So blocking out the area in half stitches and then going back and making them full cross stitches, which you can see, well, you might not be able to see, which I've sort of done here on the wing, so where that bit's
Mm-hmm.
they're just half, waiting for me to go back and finish them basically. Half stitches, and then I've gone back and made them full cross stitches, which I found quite helpful as well. If it's a large area I'm doing, just to help me give an idea of space. And then it's more relaxing on the second part because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just following what I've done before.
Right.
Obviously, all my stitches go in the same direction. So from left to right as the undercross, which is just what it told me to do on the pattern. But yeah, I thought the half stitches is probably the bit that I found the most enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any tips and tricks?
No advice really, but I do my crosses the same direction, under crosses from left to right, and then the over cross from right to left. And I noticed though in that embroidery book that we both have, the one that I sent to you, it tells you to do cross stitches in the other direction. And I was just like, oh no, like have I been doing this wrong my entire life? And so it's nice to hear that you do. I mean, not that it matters at all.
No.
It's just like, there's no way I'm changing. Like,
But also on this pattern, it tells you to go. I think I naturally would go from left to right anyway.
for the
It's
first,
like I go from left to right in most things, but I guess that's the way you
that's
like.
how we write. Like, you know, and read. Like, that's just how it feels natural for Western culture. People in West, I think, like for somebody from Japan, they might automatically want to go right to left.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, even when stitching right to left, I still think it's easier to do the crosses that way. I would love to know if other people do it the other way and the reasons why.
Right. The other thing I would absolutely love to hear what your method for cross stitching is. That's my favorite thing to talk about, just like people's different, it's like the creative process, really, you know, for crafting. I don't know why I find it so fascinating, like what people, your strategy is for like doing a project. I was just going to say, I noticed that your project is full coverage, which I feel like is a little hard. I mean, it's a lot more stitching than a non-full coverage. And the method that you described is called parking. So you do like parking your thread is when you just save it in a spot for using later. And I feel like for me, that is so much easier with a full coverage piece because for the exact reason that you said, that you like lose context, you know? If you're working in a single color. That method is called cross country. This is all stuff that I've learned in the last 6 months. I like learned to do the cross country method when I was a little kid, and I never had heard about parking before. But I think I get just like with my dragon and lizard piece, when it's so much more satisfying because that pattern is like gridded out into a 10 by 10, you know, and so like you can just focus on that 10 by 10 block and like park the threads where not just like in any random place, but like where you need them next.
Yeah.
And what that also does is like sort of create this like matted thing on the back, which is also feels like really you're stitching them down, the threads on the back, which feels good.
Yeah. I was thinking about my back actually, my cross stitch back, not my actual physical back.
Yeah.
But I think we were talking about it the other week, and I also feel like going in the same direction, it does create like a nice, I mean, mine's slightly messy, but it is pretty neat.
I love it. Mine's messy too.
Down to the parking.
That's what my back looks like. Which like for some, sorry to interrupt you, some people would be like horrified by this, but I do not care. Like, why do you, it's okay if you care, but I just am baffled by.
Yeah, I don't have time to care because I want more crafting time. This also makes me think of, so I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Tula Pink is like my newest Instagram obsession. For anyone who doesn't know, Tula Pink is a fabric designer. I guess she's probably most famous in the quilting world. But she does these Tula Tuesdays. Every Tuesday she does an IGTV. I just really enjoy watching them because she talks a lot about her creative process and she's really generous with the information she shares. And also she's just pretty funny. Like, she's just funny to watch. She's quite sarcastic. And she made a comment the other week. She was talking about, maybe it wasn't the other week, it could have been one episode. I've been binge watching them. And she was talking about English paper piecing and backs of quilts and how tidy they were. And she said, a true friend will not judge you on how tidy the back of your quilt is. And I think that's applicable to cross stitch. Like,
For sure.
it doesn't matter what the back looks like. You're never going to see it.
No.
As long as the front looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You really give.
Totally. I know that there are people out there though who are like fussy about their backs, which is.
And that's fine. But it's just not our method.
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking about this recently because I've been dreaming up things to add to my Etsy shop because I want to not only make things but like draw things that are, printable so that it's a little bit less time intensive for me to put things in my shop. And so I was dreaming up like a notebook that would be like an alphabet sampler cross stitch illustrated on the front, but then I was like on the back it could look like the reverse, but like
that's
this, which I think would be so funny and cute. But then I'm like, wait, is that like not something that other people would like the people who want their back to be perfect?
I think you should do it because there's a whole host of people out there.
Right.
You don't have to appeal to everyone. Just
right, that's true. It would appeal to the messy back people.
Yeah, people like us who would find it funny. That kind of reminds me of something else I've been doing this week is making or designing new labels for my makes.
Oh, cool.
Fabric labels. So yeah, I just have sent off one thing to be printed for the minute to see how it comes back, what it looks like. But I can show you what I've done.
Sophie's old label, by the way.
My old label, yeah, it says Sophie's Knits. So I don't know if everyone does this, but I really like putting labels on all of the stuff I make because I just think it's a really nice touch. I do it on my knitting as well, so I don't use fabric labels at the moment, but I am thinking of ordering.
I'm trying to like get my camera in focus.
You're back.
Thank you for your patience.
That's okay. So yeah, I just love adding labels to everything, even if it's not gifts, if it's just for me, I do it on everything because I think it just gives a really nice touch. And whatever you're making, even if it's not perfect, I think it's really nice that it's like, yeah, this is made by me, and it's kind of pride in your work. And yeah, so for my knitting, I usually put little cork labels on just the bottom, like on maybe like a sleeve or something. And then for my sewing stuff, it's, as Emily was showing, is at the moment that label. But I've been thinking about, I really want a flat label. So say, for example, on the back of the cushion, it would like sit here or something and be sewn on. So I thought I'm going to go completely crazy and do more Sophie kind of colours and design something. So I just did this on Procreate, which is like my favourite little...
Oh, I love it.
Made by Sophie Parish. I don't think the colours like really coming up very well, but it is, it's just a white screen now. It's basically neon pink with like neon yellows and stuff.
I love it.
I think it looks a bit dark, but so I've done that version, and then I've also done a knitting one with just a ball of wool and some knitting needles.
Oh, cute.
Because I thought it'd be quite cool to start to put those in garments, like where you'd actually put clothes labels or something. So that was quite fun, like a little drawing session.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was just going to say, I love this. Thank you so much.
Well, I thought when we were talking about them of the week, Emily has to have a Sophie one. No one else got one. I felt a bit mean, but I was like, there's only room for Emily, and she's my priority. Sorry.
Yay. Thank you. I love it. It's been, I feel like I should put it in, but it's been just out because I just can't stop picking it up and smelling it.
And that lavender is actually from my mother-in-law's back garden. So that is lavender right there.
Wow. Personal English lavender.
Yeah. Dried myself for you.
Yay. Thank you. I just want to show a drawing I did because I put this thing on Instagram, which you probably saw. It was like a 20% off. I feel so braggy to say, but like I did that all by hand. It looks very clean and professional because like I am a professional, but like it was so much work and I'm so proud of it. And but it looks so much like an ad because it is an ad, but like I also think it's really pretty. So I just
I was
really
very
enjoyed
impressed by
that.
it when I saw it. I thought it looked pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really
I know, I feel
enjoyed
like
it.
sometimes when people see things, they don't realize actually how much time goes into
Yeah.
creating. I mean, art in general, I'm gonna call it art, but I think it is art. But digital as well. There's like so many layers, and there's like so
Yeah.
many tweaks, and I think
And,
sometimes people think, oh, because it's digital, it's easier
right.
to change stuff or it's easier to do this. It's like actually, no, it's not. It still
Right.
requires a lot of work,
Right.
and it's still, you know,
But like the font where it says through Monday, it's not a font. Like I drew that all by
that
hand.
is your hand.
Yeah, that's my handwriting. And in Procreate, I feel like this is an interesting difference because as you were just describing, like it's not that easy to change colors. Like I mostly work in Illustrator, and in Illustrator, it is really easy to change colors. It is just a matter of clicking a few buttons. But I don't have a pen like and a tablet like you do.
Yeah.
So for me, doing the writing is like so much effing work, like so much work, because you have to like outline it with the pen tool. It's not just like using a stylus and writing. Like I could do that, but it would look really messy from with the just with the setup I have because I have this Wacom tablet, as you and I have discussed before, but it uses this stylus and it's like not a tablet with a screen. It's just a pad that acts like a mouse for my computer. So it's like, it's very difficult to like be drawing here and looking here and still get like a smooth
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
will say,
that's
yeah, it is easy to do. Like, all of that is my own lettering and the
yeah,
thing I showed you. And with the pen, it is literally just like, I mean, it's not exactly like writing because there is some kind of obviously how the thing works, but it is very,
flag. Yeah.
I'm actually saying it's very difficult and extremely talented, but yeah, it's pretty
Well,
easy.
you are talented.
Well, thank you. So you and me, we're both talented.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes that's not bragging, everyone. Sometimes you just have to have appreciation of
Yeah.
oneself. I don't know. But I'm excited for these labels to arrive. I'll have to send you pictures when they do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the colours come out the same as the colours on my screen because obviously there is sometimes
Yeah.
differences in inks and also, you know, what I see may not actually be
Right.
real life.
You could try to print them out just on a printer beforehand.
Yeah.
That would give you some idea.
I know what I was going to say. Speaking of printing, I also ordered our Christmas cards this week.
Ooh,
So, I mean, Emily knows what the design is, but I'll have to surprise everyone with that when they arrive. They should arrive, I think, Tuesday or something.
what service did you use to print them?
Well, I have left it to the last minute because it is the 30th of November,
December. Yeah.
obviously nearly December. So I just went with Vistaprint, which I don't know if you have in the US.
Yeah.
I've used them before when I did our wedding thank yous. I used Vistaprint and I was really impressed with like the speed and how, I mean, that website's also really easy to use. And I think never underestimate how easy it is to use one of those kinds of websites because I remember when I did our photo album book, though the website was really easy, it took about 1,000 years to upload all the pictures. That bit was really clunky. Anyway, sidetrack again. So yeah, I just used Vistaprint and I've just ordered them on square postcards because I thought, why do a whole folded card when I could just do a postcard? And it was really easy, really simple to use. There's loads of options. I'm hoping they'll print really nicely. I also ordered some gift tags as well because they do this thing where they suggest all these related products to you. And I was like, oh, I got swayed by the related
Yeah.
products.
Yeah.
They all arrive soon. And so I Emily helped me with giving me some feedback on the design and making some suggestions. So she really knows. But Lucas is a clue of what the Christmas
Yeah.
card would be.
Yeah, they're super cute. Well, I feel like this is our slowing down, so maybe we should
Yeah.
wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you had a lovely Thanksgiving if you're in the US, and if not, had a lovely week while we were gone. And we're looking forward to see you next week. And until then, don't forget to
Keep
take
it
it
slow.
slow.
Take it slow. Be slow.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.